Hello, this is Vijay Singh with GoFermentor, and welcome to my GoFermentor Winery Chat. This is Season 3, Episode 4, and we're going to talk about a new product called GOlite. It was designed to make juice fermentations really easy and inexpensive to do. But as is our custom, I always first start out with something to show you, a book to read. So today's book is very, very interesting. It's called Neuroenology by Gordon Shepherd. And it's about how we perceive wine, the taste of wine, the smell of wine, how the brain perceives it. So it starts out reviewing basic physiology, mouth, palate, and so forth, and it goes into many, many interesting aspects. But one thing I always found very fascinating is how important the retronasal input is. And for those of you who've been tasting wine all these years and spitting it out, well, according to this book, you've missed everything. It's all about what happens when you swallow and the aromas come back into your throat. So anyway, get this from Amazon, find it somewhere. It's really, really a fascinating read about wine. So before we start discussing juice fermentations, let's just review the GoFermentor for a second. I mean, most of you know how it works and what it does, but still, it was designed really to handle grapes, must, typically red wine. So it has the ability to handle skins and seeds. The cap management is an integral part of this process. It is automated punch, and it mixes everything in the fermentation. I made other presentations showing you how important this mixing is, how it removes reductive aromas, how it gives you much better flavor characteristics. So that was really the whole concept behind the GoFermentor. It also has, of course, temperature monitoring and control using cooling plates and chillers, so it can maintain the fermentation at any desired temperature. Finally, because we're dealing with must and grapes and seed, it has a built-in press. So you don't need external press, nothing to pump, nothing to clean. You simply push a button, it inflates, and you can pump out the wine. You see the picture over there, standard-looking unit in an IBC platform. And the diagram below just reminds you that it's a two-bag structure. There's one bag in which the fermentation takes place, and a second bag that's filled with air to actually push the initial bag to do the punching and pressing. So now let's go into fermenting juice. And this whole project kind of started a month or two ago when customers came to me at the Eastern Winery Exposition. They said, we really ferment mostly juice, either cider or white wine juice, and the complexity and the cost of the GoFermentor is a bit daunting, and we don't need some of its features. So we decided to actually take some of the aspects of the GoFermentor and make what we call GoFermentor Lite. It's kind of a simplified version, which is really designed for liquid fermentation. So we're looking at fruit juice, grapes, cider, mead, liquid media, no solid skin seeds to process. So obviously, we have no need for cap management. And of course, there's no need to press anything. In the case of white wine, you're making juice first in some kind of press, and then the fruit juice is now being fermented. So there's no solids to handle. So here, the GoFermentor is probably overkill for a simple liquid fermentation. Let's first review basic fermentation requirements. What do we actually need in a piece of equipment to ferment liquids? Well, first of all, you need a clean container, because any kind of dirt or contamination will lead to off odors and cause your wine to not be so good. This is why Uncle Luigi's wine was so bad, because he made it in his bathtub, and God knows how he cleaned his bathtub. So with a single-use liner, it's always perfectly clean. There's no washing, and you know it's clean. Secondly, it's sealed to prevent contamination. No insects coming in, dirt blowing in. It's a closed system. And we have a vent valve that only lets the CO2 leave the system, maintaining the whole liner under positive pressure. We have to have a way of sampling it. And our GoFermentor sampler, I'm sure you've seen on our website, little handheld unit, you pump it. It is an ideal way to take samples. You suck out the sample, there's no contamination going in, nothing can go and ruin your fermentation, nor can you inadvertently oxidize it. Temperature monitoring is critical. You have to know what temperature fermentation is at. Now, granted that it may not be possible to have control. The GoFermentor itself has cooling system, but people don't have a chiller, Maybe you can place this in a cool area, an air-conditioned room of some kind, but at least having a temperature monitor will tell you what the actual fermentation temperature is. And I think these 4 requirements are absolutely critical for a proper piece of fermentation equipment. So here's what GOlite looks like. There are 2 components. You have the liners, which are single-use, 2-inch tri-clamp port, how you connect to it. You pump the liquid media in through into this port, and then you pump the finished wine out of this port. Then you have the so-called GOlite head. So it consists of a relief valve, a high flow relief valve so it can handle flow out of a 330-gallon tank, a small quick connect for the sampling, which is mates to our sampler, a temperature display that's powered by a battery-powered LCD, so there's no power requirement at all for this device. And then, of course, a 2-inch tri-clamp that connects the head to the liner. And we supply the clamp and the gasket, so you have everything you need to get going. Then there's a dip tube, which culminates in a stainless steel sinker. So it makes sure the tube is actually always straight down into the fermentation, and is also a temperature probe. Now here's the actual piece and how it looks like. So you see it here. It has the vent valve, has a temperature probe, sensor display for the probe. It has a quick connect for sampling, the dip tube, and on the end you have a stainless steel ball which serves as a sinker, and you take actually the sample through the perforations in this ball. The temperature sensors up here. Now we made it very easy to use. When you need to clean it, you simply slide the display out of the little holder and disconnect it from this little red connector. And now you can put that away and you can wash this without any worry of damaging or destroying any electrical components. When you have it all clean, you simply slide this back in, connect it back up, and you're good to go for your next fermentation. Now we make this product in 2 models, the GOlite 60 and the GOlite 330. The GOlite 60 is designed to be used in 60-gallon vertical drums. These drums can be plastic, metal, wood, whatever. You supply the drum. We supply the head and the liners. The GOlite Head 330 is designed for a larger fermentation, typically a 400-gallon IBC, but you could use a VCT tank with open head, a flex tank with open head, anything which has this kind of capacity. The only difference in the 2 heads is the length of the dip tube. Remember this dip tube? The length of this dip tube, because the 330 requires a longer dip tube so we can actually sample at lower volumes. Here's a photograph of the GOlite 60, and you can see the liners inflated with the CO2. The gas is passed through that relief valve, and it maintains a constant positive pressure. You can see a temperature probe there. Now, this configuration has a maximum operating volume of 45 gallons. So 45 gallons of juice. You can use, as I said before, any suitable open head, vertical drum or barrel. The 330, I show you this one inside a IBC type container. The headspace inflates to about a foot above the container top. So this will take about 270 gallons maximum operating volume. And you can use any suitable bin, macro bin, whatever you have lying around, or you can use one of our bases. You can also use it in cylindrical open head tanks. And you can see how it's puffed up, the vent valve on top is allowing gas to flow through, and it all looks very, very stable. Here's a quick recap of the specifications. Materials, plastic and stainless steel. There's 2 models for 45 gallons, 270 gallons. There's no power requirements. It's a battery power. It's a watch battery. It lasts about a year. And you simply swap it out. The temperature sensor has a range of 45 to 120 degrees Fahrenheit, plus or minus 2 degrees Fahrenheit. Sampling built-in QC fitting with a stainless steel sinker ball. The process connection is a 2-inch tri-clamp fill drain port. Remember, no temperature control, only monitoring. We try to keep it very simple. If you need temperature control, you have to step up to the more sophisticated Go fermenter unit and supply a chiller and cooling plates. So a quick recap on benefits. We have an inexpensive reusable component, the head. That's about $295 a piece, and again, it's reusable. You can wash it, use it again. Low-cost liners, typically $20 to $50 depending on the size. There's no container cost. Use your own existing containers, vertical drums, bins, IBCs, macro bins, whatever you've got. No washing, hallmark of the Go fermenter. Our ambition is to never wash anything. We use single-use liners, they're perfectly clean, never a problem of contamination. Reliable sampling system using our proven sampler, which is being used for over 5-6 years. Never an issue with that. Temperature monitoring, so you know what you're doing, and no power requirements whatsoever. So, thank you for watching the Go Fermenter Chat. I hope you enjoy learning about our new GOlite product. It was put in our catalog about a month ago, and we're actually running on back order because we exhausted our initial production run very quickly. But we'll have lots more coming soon, and so I'm sure you will get something within a few days of your order. So I thank you for joining me in the chat. Cheers, and see you in the next episode. Bye-bye from Go Ferment.